Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to share with you what I have chosen for our group subjects, family subjects, whatever you want to call it, for our homeschool for the 2025-2026 school year. So I've already filmed and shared my 8th graders curriculum picks and my 5th graders curriculum picks, and I will link those videos down below in case you're interested. So today I'm going to share with you what we are going to be working on as a group. So this is the category of curriculum where I tend to get a little out of control and choose way too many things. I'm trying very, very hard this year to keep it manageable. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just this that I made for myself. So one of the changes that we're making next school year is we're switching our group subjects to Thursdays. Thursday is our co-op day, and if we get up and get moving, we can have about 3 hours before we need to leave for co-op. So when I chose our group subjects, I tried to choose things that could fit into those 3 hours potentially. The bulk of our group subjects will be done on Thursdays. I'm already feeling like this might be, it's a little more than I wanted. So we'll see. But a lot of these things I'm not committing to completely finish, which I'll explain when I'm showing you the different selections. And then we will take a little bit of time the other 4 days of the week before my kids start their individual subjects to do a couple of group things. So I will show you those first. So the first is just a read aloud that we're going to do together. I've got 2 books that I'd like to make it through during the school year. If we finish these, great, I can add in something else, but these are the 2 that I really would like to do. The first one is called How to Be a Person, 65 Hugely Useful, Super Important Skills to Learn Before You're Grown Up. I've seen this on a couple different channels over the years. I believe the Learning Ladder shared this, and Bailey Academy, I think, also shared this. And I looked at it in the past and I just didn't think my kids were quite the right age for it, but now I do. And I think that this could be fun because some of these we can actually like do, and some of them we can just read about. So I'd like to get through that. And then I'd also like to get through The Anti-Racist Kid by Tiffany Jewell. And again, this is just something that I will read aloud and we will just talk about. Not much else involved in this one, unless I see the opportunity to add something else in. But so this would be 4 days a week. We would just do a quick, maybe 15 minutes reading out of these. And then the other thing that we are going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday is spelling. So this has a bit of a backstory, so stick with me for a minute. My will-be 8th grader did Phonetic Zoo level B, and she did this level C. And we had a huge improvement in her spelling when she did level B, and she liked it for the most part. The following year, she did level C, and for whatever reason, she just didn't like it. She was tired of it. She didn't like all the steps that she had to go to, like the repetitiveness of it, where it, constantly repeats the little kind of jingle or rhyme to help you remember the spelling rule. She didn't like all the steps, and she was doing this pretty much independently. We finished it, but it was a fight, and I didn't realize until a good portion of the way through that she was cutting out a lot of steps. And so while we finished it, I didn't necessarily feel like it built upon level B as well as it could have for her. So she was still passing the tests, but I didn't feel like the long-term memory of it was built because she was cutting out these steps, if that makes any sense. But her spelling in general is okay. So I just kind of was like, okay, we're done. It's fine. Fast forward to the end of this school year, I had been holding off putting my son in Phonetic Zoo until he was ready for level B because I didn't want to buy level A, and I already had level B and level C. And at the end of last year, he was not yet testing into level B. I just picked up Evan Moore's I think, daily spelling skills for my son so that he was doing something. And for my daughter, I'm like, she's pretty good. Like the words she misspells, I can just kind of correct her on them when I see them. My son has had some testing done recently. And when I looked at his spelling score, he was testing in like 9th grade spelling level. And I was like, he must be really bored doing 4th grade Evan Moore spelling. So I started just doing like a pre-test with him for each week of Evan Moore. And if he got most of them correct, we would just practice the 1 or 2 he got wrong and move on. So pretty much we finished that up really quickly. And then I gave him the test for phonetic zoo. Based on the response of that test, it placed him in level C. So he's like completely bypassed level B. Now, what was really funny, so when he was getting ready to take, or when he took like the first test, and he did really well, and then like I think the next day I was like, you got to take another test, and it's a lot of words. And so to try to like, I don't know, make him not irritated that he had to do this test, I said, oh, how about we'll have Dad take it with you, because my husband is like super good at spelling. It drives me crazy. Math is not his thing, and he gets really irritated when I'll be like, see if you can solve this problem that I had to figure out from dimensions today. But spelling is like, it's his thing. And my son thought, you know, that was kind of fun and cool that my husband was going to take this spelling test too. So then my daughter was like, well, I want to take it. And I was like, well, you should get them all right because you've already completed this level. All 3 of them took it, and she did not test out of level C. So I thought, you know what, let's do this as a group subject. And I will be ensuring that from the get-go, we're doing each lesson the way that it's supposed to be done with all the repetitiveness. I think if nothing else, it will be a good refresher for her. And I'll know that all of the lessons are done the way they were supposed to do them. So at any rate, this is now going to be a group subject for both of them. We will do it 4 days a week. This doesn't take very long to do. And yeah, all right. These 2, what I have as breakfast reading, will relate to our Thursday group subjects. But just throughout the week, they will be reading the Week Junior. They read this during breakfast anyway. And then also we have a new product from Thistles and Biscuits called the Field Journals, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But they will be reading one of these, not every week because these only come out once a month, but they'll be reading these throughout the week so that they're ready for what we do with them in our group subject on Thursdays. Okay? All right. So the first group subject I have for us on Thursdays, this isn't really a schedule, so these aren't necessarily in the order that we're going to do them. So the first is unit studies, and this is a really hard one for me because I love unit studies and I want to do all the things. I decided that probably realistically we could do 4 in our school year. I have 6 in my pile currently, so I'm not sure what some of these are going to look like, if we will do all of these or not, but I'm going to show them to you. And I will do videos, more in-depth videos on each of them as we get to them. This is just kind of the general topic and one of the main books that we're using. So for unit studies, I want to do one on the Great Depression. Most of these will have novels that we're reading along with them. I have like 3 for this one, so I don't know how we're going to deal with that. But anyway, the Great Depression. If you are new here, I love the Nomad Press books, which are what most of the unit studies are coming from. Video games, cities, micronations. I also have comics and graphic novels. And then I want to do something with journalism and the history of journalism and just journalism in general. And this is just one of the books that I have pulled for right now. So that is 6 different unit studies. I did not plan anything for like different seasons or holidays or things like that. Will I want to do those? Maybe, but I think if I decide to do something like that, it will be a very short, like 1 day kind of a thing. Will we be able to get through all 6 of these? I'm not sure. That will be a problem for future me. These are the 6 I'd like to get through. But again, I also want to just leave room for life happening and also for things coming up that I didn't think of that we might have to kind of impromptu do a unit study on, or like Mint and Bloom, which I love. They'll likely come out with a new unit study, you know, in the next year, and I might want to fit that in. But at this point, those are the 6 that I'm working with. We will at least do 4. All right, the next subject area I have is art, music, and poetry. And we will just kind of rotate these or work through one thing and then move on to the next. The first thing I have is these Atelier art DVDs. This is the next level up from the one that we've been working on this year. What level is this? Oh, level 6. These, you can get the Atelier Homeschool art from Rainbow Resource, and it's like a streaming package, but it's much more expensive. I do have a video review on that. I will try to link that down below. The DVDs are much cheaper. They're an older version, but they're fine for us. So we have those for art. For poetry, now my kids each have poetry as part of their Hearth and Story language arts, but Hearth and Story just came out with a 4th grade poetry. And I think that this lends itself really well to group study. Even though it's 4th grade, I don't know, I think that age doesn't even matter. But what I really like about this is you're studying a poem and art at the same time. So a painting and a piece of poetry. And so you've got a picture of the painting and the information about it, and then you have a poem, and then there's a little right up here to help you facilitate a discussion. And so I want to say there's, I think 24 or 25 pairs in here. And will we do every single one, or will we pick and choose? I'm not sure yet. I love Edna St. Vincent Millay. But anyway, I feel like this has a lot of possibility in it for what we can do. And can we build off this and then, you know, do a project, you know, from this? Probably. And so anyway, I don't know exactly what this is going to look like yet. It could be some weeks where we just look at the painting, read the poem, and discuss. Other weeks we may build it out and do something else with it. But this is one thing that I would like to work through as a group subject this year. All right, and then the last is music, and I have shared this before. I will link that video. I did a full flip through. This is from Thistles and Biscuits. It's called From Sound to Song, an overview of the design of music. And there is this booklet here, and then there's a student workbook as well. So I would like to get through that. And that's what I have in our art, poetry, and music category. All right, the next one is current events. And this is something that we have started to dabble in at the end of this current school year. And I want to continue. So my kids really like The Week Junior. And they read it, but we don't always do much else, anything else with it. Sometimes I have done like some writing with it with my son in the past. And I want to kind of lean into that a little bit. And so what we kind of tested out at the end of this school year was I tried a free trial of Write by Number, and we used that to write about news articles. And I don't know if we'll continue the Write by Number component. I had a lot of trouble getting it to work on our devices. It would work fine on the computer, but as far as on our devices, the pages would constantly reload, and it was almost impossible to use it. And their customer support pretty much said, it must be a you problem. Sorry about your luck. Good luck with that. So I don't have a whole lot of interest in purchasing that product. Even though I think it is a me problem, I think it's probably I'll need a different browser or something. I just wasn't thrilled with the customer service aspect of it. However, the first several levels of Write by Number lent themselves really well to writing about these news stories. We did, it uses like the number 2. So like I read 2 articles about monkeys, and then they could follow kind of the pattern of building their paragraph, referencing those 2 articles. Or one my son did was not in this one. He did one about the Titanic, and so it was, I learned 2 new things about the Titanic, and then he built his paragraph based on that. And so I really liked that aspect. So I would like to kind of lean into doing more with the Week Junior and building our writing skills a little bit, learning how to maybe synthesize a couple of different articles, having some discussions about the news article itself, writing, our opinion about the topic that's covered, or, whatever. Again, this won't look the same every single week, but I really want to work on our writing and our current events, knowledge and understanding and ability to talk about. So that's what we're going to do for that. Now, this one and our technology and media literacy may overlap some months. And that's fine. So anyway, so for technology, media literacy, I have a few resources that we're going to be using. The first is this free product from Google. It's called Be Internet Awesome. And it's smart, alert, strong, kind, brave. And there's a family guide, and then there's a section for teachers. And it's just a curriculum. There's different lessons to teach different things related to technology, using the internet, and things like that. So will we do every single lesson in here? We might not. It'll depend. But I like a lot of what's in here. So we will be doing that. I also really like this book. It's called Fighting Fake News, Teaching Critical Thinking and Media Literacy in a Digital Age. And I like that this kind of combines using the internet and digital resources. So we're learning that while understanding media literacy and things like that. So this kind of combines the 2. And again, will we do every single lesson in this book? Probably not, but... And then this we've used for a couple of years, and we have not done everything in it, so we will pull some things in from this book. I won't be doing any of the lessons that use Microsoft Publisher, even though we have it. Since Microsoft is going to stop supporting that later this year, we're just not going to bother with it. So I've kind of checked off ones we've done. I've X'd out ones we're not going to do, and then marked kind of ones that I think I would like to work in somewhere. So this is another resource we'll kind of use for that category. And then the last section I mentioned, this is a new product from Thistles and Biscuits. It's called the Field Journals. I'll do more videos on these as we use them. But this is, let me dump out what's in here. So this is kind of what you get in an envelope. And I thought that these would be really good for kind of like a nature study type edition to our homeschool. This particular one is about the sequoia tree, and it's written from the perspective of a nature journalist. And so I just like they talk about really kind of appreciating nature, recognizing the beauty in nature, and then kind of through their journaling of their nature study, you get to learn about different insects or animals or plant life. And so here we get some information about the great sequoia. We've got its connection to humans and about kind of like its environment and like ecosystem and stuff. So I think that this will be a really good addition to our homeschool. They also always have a little kind of how to draw a component. So here you're drawing like the pine cone or sequoia cone, I guess. So there's just little, some simple directions on how to do that. And there's a couple of stickers that they include. So I think that this will be a really fun addition to our group subjects. And again, likely I will build this out a little, like if I can find a novel to go with it, we may add that to our read alouds. Or if there's another like activity or something, you know, we may add some more things in. But even if we don't add more things in, I think this is really strong even on its own, and something that I think my kids will really enjoy. So this one happens to be about the swallowtail butterfly. So again, you've got a simple little like how to draw and stickers. There's another one in there. And then 2 pages front and back. I think I've got mine out of order, yeah. So I think this is going to be a really good addition, and I will share more, obviously, as I'm planning and prepping, and as we're doing, I will review after we've used them as well. So that is mostly it. We will be doing read alouds in the form of mostly audiobooks, potentially some group reads where we each take turns, or we read on our own and then we come together and discuss. I haven't made final selections on things. These are just a few that I have. I read this, by the way. I shared this in a haul and it was so good. But anyway, I'm not going to commit us to, these are some that are definitely potential choices, and as I kind of plan out our year, you'll know more specifically what we're doing, but there will be read alouds as well, and they'll tie in either to our unit study, possibly current events, or those field journals. So that's what that looks like. All right, this was way too long. I apologize. If you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments if you've used any of these bits and pieces of curriculum, or if you're interested in more information about one or more of them, let me know that too, and I would be happy to give you some more information. So that's all I have. I appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you down in the comments.